Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
And as Reverend Sonia said, my talk is on embracing the year of the dragon, a Daoist path to the new year. I'd like to start by reading a chapter in the Tao Te Ching, chapter 25. It says, "Imagine a nebulous thing here before heaven and earth, subtle and elusive, dwelling apart and unconstrained. It could be the mother of us all. Not knowing its name, I call it Tao. Forced to describe it, I describe it as great. Great means ever-flowing. Ever-flowing means far-reaching. Far-reaching means returning. The Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The ruler is also great. The realm contains four greats, of which the ruler is but one. Humankind imitates earth. Earth imitates heaven. Heaven imitates the Tao. And the Tao imitates itself." So, what is this thing we call Tao? Tao means the way. It means a journey. It's a verb. It's not a noun. The Tao is not a thing. It's not a person. It's not God. It is a complete and utter emptiness. And out of this emptiness came the one. And then the one became the two, which we call yin and yang. This is our world of opposites: day, night, woman, man, cold, hot, everything relative. And out of the two came the 10,000 things. And when the Chinese talk about 10,000 things, what they're meaning is all phenomenon. Our goal, being with the theme today, is to go back to Tao, go backwards. Meaning it's about letting go, about undoing. In chapter 25, which I just read, there are gradations or levels of being. And it was made clear that humans, it says rulers, but they mean humankind, are just one part of the four gates. We don't have dominion over everything. The Tao asks us to live and move and have our being amongst all that is we're part of and part of us. We are not separate from nature or earth. We are earth. We are not separate from heaven. We are heaven. We are not separate from Tao. We are Tao. We're also told we can't speak or name Tao because as soon as we name it, then we're separate from it. So in order to understand the unnamed essence of which we are a part, we break it down to what's called the four grades. Heaven, which encompasses all of the cosmos and all the celestial beings, is great because there is nothing it does not cover. Earth, which encompasses all of nature, is great because there is nothing it does not support. Ruler or humanity is great because there is nothing it does not govern. Humankind should be like Earth and support and give without exhaustion and succeed without fuss, without trying to take credit. Earth imitates heaven as it gives without seeking reward. Heaven imitates Tao as it directs breath and essence and is in silence. We are told in chapter 25 that I just read, the Tao is also far-reaching and returning. So what this means is when we go from nothingness, no thingness, and become one, and then become two, this world of opposites, and then become all phenomenon, our goal is then to start to come back. The way to get back to our true nature, or the Tao, is to return. The Tao is also paradox. Even though we are returned back to Tao, we are to remain still, to just be, and yet at the same time to flow. I think this means is as we start to revert or undo and flow backwards, so to speak, we're doing so by holding the stillness within. So what does all this mean for our new year that's just beginning? Perhaps this year we can start to undo. Instead of adding things on, let's let things go. We have enough, don't we? Don't we have enough? Let's undo. Start to return to that stillness within. As Reverend Sonia mentioned earlier, like we think it's out here that's going to make us happy. And what the sacred secret is, the happiness is already in there, but it's so cluttered we can't get to it with stuff, with thoughts, with things. So let's start to undo, let go, and the goal is we will be happy. That's the irony in all of this. We will actually get the stillness and peace and happiness we want by letting go and become that Tao within. So at this moment, you just wrote a couple or a few things on a piece of paper. Can you think of one more thing at this moment, not the coming year, but this moment that you can let go of? Try to think of it without thinking too hard. Just bring something to mind that you can let go of at this moment in time. And now, what is the undoing you can practice this year besides what you wrote on your paper? Can it be self-sabotage? Can it be judgment of self or others? Can it be gossip? Can it be taking sides? Can it be opinionating? Can it be media consumption? Can it be running on the treadmill of accumulation? Let this year be about undoing and decluttering your life or your house or relationships that are toxic or your body or your mind. 2024, or the year of the dragon, is not the year to add on, but to let things be and let things go. When we let go and we undo our ruminating mind, or what I call the gerbil wheel mind, we start to recognize who we are under all that mental debris that we piled up through our lives. Our true nature, our Tao within, is expansion into the infinite light. Often Tao is compared to water. So we had a lot of water themes going on today. As it says in chapter 8 of the Tao Te Ching, the Tao Te Ching just means the book or classic on the way, the Tao, and its virtue, de, Tao Te Ching. And I will read chapter 8 for you. The best are like water, bringing help to all without competing, choosing what others avoid. Thus, they approach the Tao, dwelling with earth, thinking with depth, helping with kindness, speaking with honesty, governing with peace, working with skill, and moving with time. And because they don't compete, they are not maligned. Water is a metaphor for the way, or Tao. It's the source and power that sustains us in this world. And it's the way of those who live in the flow like water, who will be in harmony. So as an example, when water comes across a obstacle, it doesn't try to change the obstacle or aggressively confront it. It moves around it. We are asked to be like water. And the most suggestive metaphors of water and the Tao always talk about water and stillness. And just as water must be undisturbed in order to clearly reflect the clouds or the trees, so our minds must be still, so that we can register the truth of things. When we are still or stilling the mind, we let all those thoughts, those ruminations, those gerbil wheel thoughts sink like mud sinking in the water to leave the clear on top. And then we become clear and tranquil. And still water typically makes no sounds. So it too is a metaphor for silence, the silence we have within. Perhaps we can let go of talking too much. Lao Tzu, the author of the Tao Te Ching, says, "Those who speak don't know, and those who know don't speak." How many times do we go on about something that we could take half the time to convey? Or how many times do we just like to hear ourselves talk? Or how many times do we interrupt someone while they are talking so we can get our point across? Is the Taoist life then an immobile one, spent in passive contemplation of natural environments? No. While water must be relatively still in order to reflect things, it also becomes stagnant if it stays too still, if there's no movement. So again, we see the paradox. We are to be still, yet we are to move. Huh? I think this means that we are to be still when it is called for and moved when we are asked. Extraneous movement is what we're trying to let go of, and stagnant stillness is what we're trying to let go of. What serves you in that moment? The you I'm talking about is the soul, the higher purpose, the higher you that will serve that inner silence. Is it movement or is it stillness in that moment? And the Tao will ask us to take each moment as it comes. We don't have to think way down the line. We don't have to control the future, just what's in front of you at the moment. So what does all this have to do with dragon energy? The Chinese and the Daoists celebrate the lunar calendar. That means the new year starts in February. It's always on the first new moon. This year, the Chinese Daoist New Year happens to be February 10th. Not unlike the Western zodiac, the Chinese years are separated into energies, and each energy has an animal symbolizing them. This year, the animal is the dragon. And it's a 12-year cycle. So the dragon shares its 12-year cycle with 11 other animals, some of which are the dog, the rooster, the pig, the monkey, the rat, among others. The dragon, however, is the only mythical symbol, thereby making it extra special. So what does that mean for us this year? The dragon helps us transform. It does this through power and strength and intellect. The dragon helps us to open to new experiences and embrace change. Challenges will continue to come, and it might even be ramped up this year. Mm-hmm. The dragon will give us the strength to face them. By embracing dragon energy, we have the opportunity to practice leadership in our own lives, alongside the lives of others, or even within our own psyche. In other words, do you let the ego run all over you, telling you what it wants you to know, like how you're different or not good enough, or compares yourself to other people, who, by the way, are comparing themselves to other people? So all of humanity is comparing and contrasting. It's about taking the reins from the point of view of the soul and create new roles in your day-to-day lives. Dragons are winged creatures, so they can give us a higher perspective. When we have a higher perspective, we become more mindful and more conscious. So as the changing forces come upon us this year, we can look through the dragon's eyes and accept it and integrate it, because we are looking from a higher vantage point. The more of us out there zooming out and looking at this transformation through the eyes of the dragon from above, this dark, chaotic time that we are in will not be as overwhelming. Imagine all of us doing this. Imagine. It's up to us. And then the light comes pouring in, because we are the light. The dragon is the light. It's an opportunity to transform into dragon energy, to be the shining lights that we are. And then we have the potential for magic and beneficence in our lives. And our faith in the higher consciousness, the dragon, then replaces fear. Dragons are Daoists, in that they don't try to change anything. They just are. They can teach us to let things just be as they are. Do you ever see a dragon apologize for itself? They don't try to control situations, and their dragon energy is kind. So be kind in any situation that is in front of you. Us. Dragons can open the way to extraordinary transformation and the true freedom that comes through self-knowledge and wisdom and love. Dragons are powerful. Love is powerful. Dragons are love. Let's be that dragon energy. Let's be love. Almost every culture has written myths of the dragon. Why is that? There must be something about them. We see dragon energy in many of our symbols. Dragons are the snakes of the sky, or snakes are the dragons of the earth. Either way, we see this symbol in the caduceus, for instance, or the staff of Hermes, which came to symbolize alchemy or transformation. We also see it in the kundalini, which is that serpent energy that resides at the root chakra, the base of our spine. And as we evolve in consciousness, it rises up the spine. So we see again this theme of transformation in these symbols. Dragons, as I mentioned, are unapologetic. They practice the fullness of being, also a Daoist quality. They teach us how to simply be present with what is that's in front of us at this moment, and connected to all life, therefore. And see all of life, that life is exactly as it's supposed to be. Dragons see that. And even in Tao, the Taoists know this, because yin turns into yang, and yang turns into yin. It's constantly changing. Night turns into day, day turns into night. Ice turns into steam. Rain turns into sun. There's always, always a change. So we rise above all this mire that we're in right now, and know as we look from the dragon energy, it will come to pass because things change. Always. Always. So the goal for us is to embrace the dragon energy and get real. To operate from our authentic selves and let go of control. The dragon is a formidable creature. It's a paradox. Here we go again. Within, as it's flying around the skies or swimming through the waters, it also remains still within itself. Just like yin and yang, within the stillness, yin, is movement. And within movement, yang, there is stillness. So we always have these two things going at the same time. And even that yin-yang symbol that we're all familiar with, that's called the Taiji symbol. You see the dark and the white, like a black and white cookie, basically. And then in the dark part, there's a blob of white, and in the white part, there's a blob of dark. That's the yin and yang constantly changing into one another and within one another. Let the dragon teach us that we are enough exactly as we are. Let the dragon teach us that we have the inner power to change our internal stories, the stories we tell ourselves that keep us in fear. Let the dragon tell us to be still when we are triggered, for instance, or to express when we are afraid to speak. Let us practice that balance and hold that paradox, and let it be this year. Take advantage of his and her energy, the dragon energy. And as the world is seemingly falling apart around us, let us see it as a transformation of consciousness, that out of the rubble comes the new human that cuts the invisible chains that we put on ourselves. Our dragon energy shows us new choices for living the life we may have dreamed of, but didn't think was possible. Like the dragon, Taoism teaches us that life is a mystery, to be lived, unapologetic for who we authentically are as we align ourselves with that inner silence and that selflessness and kindness with the soul. And let the dragon tell us to live a life in fearlessness and not live a life as it's a problem to be solved. Be the dragon energy. Be the Tao. Thank you.
If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.